This numerical is wet compression. Now what is meaning of wet compression? Point 1 is in wet region and point 2 is on saturated vapor curve. This is meaning of wet compression. So basically this is wet dry saturated compression. Okay, so I'll read the question. Ammonia refrigerator produces 30 tons of ice from 0 degree Celsius in a day. Okay, now here you can see ice is given and its temperature is given. So here we have to use that sensible heat latent heat box which we had seen in previous lecture. The temperature range of working cycle is 25 degrees Celsius to -15 degrees Celsius. The vapor is dry saturated at the end of compression. Okay, so at the end of compression means point number 2. Point number 1 is beginning of compression, point number 2 is exit of compressor. So at end of compression, what is given? Dry saturated vapor. So that is why point number 2 is on saturated vapor curve. Then actual COP is 60% of theoretical. Calculate the power required to drive the compressor. Okay, so observe the pH and TH diagram over here. pH diagram is there, TH diagram is there. I have drawn vapor dome on both the diagrams. Okay, since point 2 is saturated vapor, point 1, since line is inclined, it will be in wet region. So point 1, in both the cases it is in wet region, pH and TH diagram, and because of that this wet compression is what? Wet and dry saturated vapor. So that is known as wet compression. Okay, so first step will be we have to calculate all the enthalpy values. Okay, now in this case we will use table method. Okay, now even though Cp of liquid and Cp of vapor is not given, we are using tables. Why? Because point 3 nothing is given, we are assuming point 3 is on saturated liquid curve. Point 2 data is given, from there we can get what is point 1. Okay, it will be wet. And point 3 nothing has been given, so point 3 will be on saturated liquid curve. Okay, so from this data we can draw pH and TH diagram. Okay, now what is T high temperature? We will mark that T high temperature in the diagram. So T high temperature or condenser temperature, it is 25 degrees Celsius. So this temperature, it is 25 degrees Celsius. T low temperature or evaporator temperature, it is -15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is that temperature. This is evaporator temperature and this is condenser temperature. After understanding the pH diagram, okay, we have to solve this. Now what happens is, if you see the ammonia pH chart, okay, in that chart inside the vapor dome we don't have dryness fraction values. So dryness fraction value is not there and constant entropy curve is also not there. So we cannot plot this on pH chart. Okay, so I'll show you what is ammonia pH chart, how it looks like. Okay, so here you can see this is ammonia R717, and if you see the vapor dome, it is cut over here, and inside part we don't have dryness fraction curves as well as constant entropy curves. It is given in superheated vapor region. Okay, these values are not there in vapor dome. Okay, constant entropy. So we cannot draw. Suppose point 1 is over here and point 2 is over here. It will be difficult for us to actually locate the isentropic curve. So what we will do is, this is possible if you are using ASHRAE chart. Okay, ASHRAE chart has complete vapor dome, and inside this vapor dome even you will be having dryness fraction curves as well as isentropic curves. So in that ASHRAE chart you can draw, but we are not using that chart. Why? We had seen the reason, because there this jump is very significant, so it will give us error when we are calculating. So we are using this pH chart from Mathur and Mehta. Okay, in this case, here this isentropic curve, that curve is not visible over here. So that is why this we are solving by table. So we'll go back to the question. So for this question, we have to calculate now enthalpy of all the points. Okay, now in point number 2 we know. From point number 2 we have to calculate enthalpy of point number 1. What will be enthalpy of point number 2? Point number 2, it is on saturated vapor curve. So it will be Hg. Okay, this will be Hg at saturation temperature, which is 25 degrees Celsius. I'll write down H2 is equal to Hg at saturation temperature, which is 25 degrees Celsius. So we will go to the ammonia tables. Okay, so refrigerant tables. These are refrigerant property tables for ammonia R717. What is the temperature given? Higher temperature, it is 25 degrees Celsius. So for 25 degrees Celsius, what we have to read? We have to read Hg value. So this is Hg. So what will be this value? It will be 1483.18. So we'll go back to the numerical and write down the value. So H2 value, it is equal to 1483.18 kilojoule per kg. Okay, now after this, we have to calculate enthalpy of point 1. Okay, this is point 1, but we don't know what is dryness fraction of point 1. Okay, so how to calculate dryness fraction? We will write S2 is equal to S1. What is S2? If you see the diagram, it will be Hg at saturation temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, so here you can see point 2, it is on saturated vapor. So what will be entropy of this point? It will be Hg at either the given saturation pressure or given temperature. Okay, so we'll read this value Hg at 25. So this is Hg at 25, its value is 5.3175. 5.3175 unit you can see on the chart, it is kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, this value is equal to S1. S1 will be SF at saturation temperature, which is -15, plus X1 into SFG at -15. So for -15 we will read the values. So here you can see -15 is there. Now -15 SF value is shown over here and Hg value is shown over here. So we'll write down the values. .3175 is equal to SF at -15, 0.74246 plus X1 is unknown, which we have to calculate, into SFG at 15. It will be what? It will be this value. It will be Hg at 15 at -15 minus SF at -15. Okay, now this Hg at -15, it is 5.8223 minus SF at -15, it is 0.74246. So from here we can calculate this value, that SFG value 5.07984. Okay, from here we can calculate X1. Okay, X1 is equal to 0.901. Now we have value of X1, we can calculate enthalpy of this point. What will be enthalpy of this point? It will be up to this point HF. and this total value till this saturation, it will be, I'll show this again, 0.1 is over here. Okay, till this point it is HF, and till this point it is, this is HFG. So HF plus X1 into HFG. So I'll write down H1. H1 is equal to HF at saturation temperature, which is -15, plus X1 into HFG at -15. Now this HFG, it will be Hg at -15 minus HF at -15. So we'll go back to the table. At -15, HF value is written over here and Hg value is written over here. Okay, so we have to use both the values. We'll write down this equal to HF at -15, 131.275 plus X1 0.901 into HFG. This value is 143.9 minus HF at -15, 131.275. From here we can calculate H1. H1 is equal to 1313.95 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so we have calculated enthalpy of 0.2 and enthalpy of 0.1. Now next point, enthalpy H3 will be equal to enthalpy H4, and 0.3, it is on saturated liquid. So what will be this enthalpy? It will be HF at saturation temperature 25 degrees Celsius. So we'll read that value. So 25 degrees Celsius HF value, it is this one. So I'll write down H3 equal to H4 is equal to HF at 25. We read that value as 317.687 kilojoule per kg. We have calculated all the enthalpies. Now we'll see the question again and check what is asked. Okay, now in this question, we have calculated all the enthalpy values. What is the tonnage given? 30 ton of ice. Okay, so what will be mass of ice? It will be 30,000 kg. Okay, so we have to convert 0 degree Celsius of water to ice at 0 degree Celsius. And what is the time period given here? 1 day. Okay, so from here we can calculate what is the rate of heat which has to be removed. Okay, so I'll write down first part, power required to drive the compressor. Now since power is asked, we have to calculate W dot compressor actual. Okay, now what relation is given? COP actual is equal to 0.6 COP theoretical, equal to 0.6 into, what is COP theoretical equation? We have to see pH diagram. Refrigerating effect, which will be H1 minus H4 upon compressor work H2 minus H1. So this will be H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1. All the values we have already calculated enthalpy. So from here we can calculate this right hand side. This is 3.53. Now what is this COP actual? This left hand side, it will be Q dot A actual upon W dot C actual. Now this W dot C actual we have to calculate. This is finally we have to calculate. It is asked in the question, and Q dot A actual is not known. So first we will calculate Q dot A actual. Okay. Now we'll draw the boxes to understand what are the different heats involved here. So water is there, 30,000 kg at 0 degree Celsius, and we get ice 30,000 kg at 0 degree Celsius. Here only one type of heat is involved, which is latent heat. Okay, now this latent heat value, what will be that? It will be mass into HFG. What is this HFG? I told you, you have to remember this value. For ice, this HFG is 335 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so from here we can calculate rate at which heat needs to be extracted. Okay, this will be Q dot A actual, which is equal to, now understand this part. What is this mass into HFG? It will be equal to, mass is 30,000 into HFG is 335 kilojoule per kg. From here we can calculate this value is equal to 10.05 into 10 raised to 6 kilojoule. So to convert 30,000 kg of water to ice at same temperature 0 to 0, we have to extract latent heat. What is that heat value? It is 10.05 into 10 raised to 6 divided by, what is the time period given in the question? In a day. So it will be 24 into 3600. So 24 hours, we have to convert it in seconds. 24 into 3600. From here we can calculate Q dot A actual, which is equal to 116.32 kilojoule per second. Okay, now substitute this value in this equation. So we can calculate W dot actual now. Okay, we have calculated Q dot A actual. So I'll write down, on left hand side we have Q dot A actual, which is 116.32 divided by W dot C actual is equal to 3.53. So from here only unknown is power consumed by compressor, which is equal to 33.04 kilowatt. This is final answer. So we'll go back to the question and revise this. What is given in the question? Ammonia refrigerator produces 30 tons of ice from and at 0 degree Celsius in one day. From and at means water is at 0 degree Celsius. From there we get ice at 0 degree Celsius in one day. Temperature range, T high or condenser temperature is 25 and evaporator or T low temperature, it is -15. Vapor is dry saturated at end of compression. So point 2 is on saturated vapor. So from here we assume that point 3 is saturated liquid, since nothing is given in question. So we have drawn pH and TH diagram. Now after drawing this, we have to calculate enthalpy of all the points. Now since point 1, it is in wet region and we don't have dryness fraction, on pH diagram which we use, we have to use table method here. So from table method we calculated first H2, then using S2 equal to S1, we calculated X1 and used that X1 to calculate H1. After this, we read value of H3 equal to H4. And finally, we calculated power required. Okay, now one more question we will see. This is the case of wet superheat compression. You can see the pH diagram here. Point 1, it is in wet region, so wet, and point 2, it is in superheated region, so wet superheat compression. A food storage requires refrigeration system of 12 tons capacity. What is this given? Capacity 12 TR at an evaporator temperature of -10. Here I have marked T low or T evaporator -10 degrees Celsius and condenser temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. So T high or TC, it is 25 degrees Celsius. The refrigerant liquid ammonia is subcooled by 5 degrees Celsius. So here you can see, read this data carefully. Refrigerant liquid ammonia is subcooled by, what is meaning of this by? Original temperature is 25 and this is degree of subcooling given. So 25 minus 5 will be subcooled temperature. So it will be 20 degrees Celsius. Interpret the data properly. It is subcooled by. So 25 minus 5. So this will be 20 degrees Celsius line before passing through throttle wall. So point 3 is subcooled. The vapor leaving the evaporator coil is 0.97 dry. So point 1, it is in which region? From here we can understand the vapor leaving the evaporator coil. Leaving the evaporator coil means which point? Point number 1. Okay, here what will be the dryness fraction? This X is equal to 0.97. Now here a few things you have to understand. Here we will be making use of whatever chart we have and table. We are following Mathur and Mehta. Okay, if ASHRAE we are using, we don't have any problem. Okay, but whatever is available, for that I am talking about, there we don't have on pH diagram dryness fraction. So what we will do, we will use table method. From there X1 value is known, we will calculate H1 from table. That H1 we will plot from x-axis, we will draw on pH diagram 25, then -10, and from x-axis we will take that H1 value, and wherever it cuts this horizontal, that will be 0.1 on pH chart. So first part we are calculating using table H1 value, then that H1 we will plot on pH chart, then follow isentropic curve, we will get 0.2 till this higher pressure, and then mark subcooling and complete the pH chart. So first we have to calculate enthalpy. How to calculate enthalpy of 0.1? H1 is equal to, it is in which region? Wet region. So what will be the condition over here? Saturation temperature -10. So H1 will be HF at -10 plus X1 into HFG at -10 degrees Celsius. Okay, from here HF value we have to read from table. Okay, so we'll see which refrigerant is given in this question. Ammonia. So we have to see ammonia table, and for ammonia table we have to read value at -10. So this is R717 ammonia table at -10 temperature. We have to read HF and HG. Okay, so this value we have to read and write. So HF is 154.056 plus x1 0.97 into what is this HFG? It will be Hg at minus 10 minus Hf at minus 10. So we will substitute this value into 1450.22 minus 154.056. From here we can calculate H1, which is equal to 1411.33 kilojoule per kg. So after getting this value, we have to mark on pH diagram. So we'll go to the pH diagram. Observe the pH diagram properly. This pH diagram, it is of R717 refrigerant, ammonia. Okay, then we have to mark temperatures here. Okay, what are the temperatures given? Higher temperature, condenser temperature, it is 25 degrees Celsius. So what you have to do, here we have 20 and here we have 30. Divide this in 5 equal parts. Okay, so here this will be Tc or T high equal to 25. Then T low temperature is minus 10. So here you can see on saturated liquid curve, here small corners are provided. Okay, so from here we have to draw vertical like this. So both the sides we have to mark minus 10. Okay, and then draw this saturation temperature line. Okay, so minus 10 we have marked and 25 we have marked. Now from this, after marking the temperatures, what we have to do, from the saturation region, okay, where inside the vapor dome, we already have, this is constant temperature, this is also constant temperature, and in this latent heat part, pressure also remains constant. So we will draw from that line a horizontal line that will be higher pressure line, HP, and from this bottom line we will draw again a complete line covering the whole chart. It will be low pressure, LP. Okay, now we have calculated value of H1. It was approximately H1 is equal to 1411 kilojoule per kg. Okay, now understand this. This is important part. So if you see this vapor dome, here a jump is given. Okay, what is the jump? Here you can see this value, it is 400. Okay, and after this point you can see the jump directly, it is 1400. Now our value, it is in continuation from this point. Okay, 1411. So there is no jump. Okay, jump is before this. So we can show that H1 point on pH chart. Suppose now that value of H1, it was suppose 500 or 1000. Then in that case we cannot mark that point on this pH chart. Okay, that is the disadvantage of this pH chart. In this case we cannot mark. On ASHRAE chart we can mark. Okay, there will be all the lines are there. In that case we can mark, but here in this case we cannot mark the point over here, because you can see, suppose this is 300, 400 and this will be 350. So this will be 450, and after 450 there is a jump in between, and then directly 1400 is there. So if point is in between, we don't know the actual location of that point. Okay, but fortunately in this case H1 value is how much? 1411 kilojoule per kg. So we will mark, this is 1400, this is 1420. So this will be 1410. So slightly ahead of that we will mark 1411 and draw a vertical from that point. Wherever it cuts the horizontal evaporator pressure, there we will get point number 1. Then from point number 1 we have to follow constant entropy. So here you can see this is point number 1, and this point, if you draw constant entropy, it should be in between these two. Okay, according to the slope. So this will be process 1 to 2. Now this point you have to extend wherever this high pressure line cuts. Okay, there you will get point number 2. So wherever this high pressure line intersects with isentropic 1 to 2 is what? Isentropic compression. There we will get point number 2. Then what is given? Subcooling is 20 degrees Celsius. So from 20, I have drawn vertical. Wherever it cuts the high pressure curve, high pressure line, there we will get point number 3. So this part will indicate subcooling. Okay, so from point 2 to point 3 we will show condensation. Okay, so this part will be desuperheating and then condensation, and then this part will be subcooling. Then 3 to 4 we have to draw vertical. Okay, this will be up to low pressure. After that, after drawing the cycle, we have to name the points. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and after that we have to draw arrows. Okay, so 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. Now after drawing all the arrows and completing the cycle, we need to read values of enthalpy. So extend this point 2 on x-axis, extend this point 3 on x-axis. Either you can extend point 3 in this direction or point 4 in this direction. Draw vertical. So if you extend this point number 2 over here, okay, just you have to read this is 1580 and this is 1600. In between we will have 1590. Okay, so it is around 2 divisions. So H2 value is 1584 kilojoule per kg, and then H3 equal to H4. Here you can see this is 200, this will be 250, and this value, this is 290. Okay, so H3 equal to H4 is equal to 290 kilojoule per kg. Okay, 250, 260, 270, 280 and then 290. Then after getting all the enthalpy values, we have to write down these enthalpy values. So H1 we had calculated before, and using this H1 which we marked on the chart, it intersected with this pressure line. We got point 1 and then we draw constant entropy curve where we can mark point 2. So we have read H2 value. So H2 value is equal to 1584 kilojoule per kg, and H3 equal to H4 is equal to 290 kilojoule per kg. These two values we have got from pH chart. H1 value we calculated from table. Now after calculating all the enthalpies, whatever is asked in the question we can calculate. So what is the first question? Find COP of cycle and power input. Okay, COP of cycle, it will be refrigerating effect, which is H1 minus H4 upon compressor work H2 minus H1. Okay, and power input to the compressor, it will be, you have to consider mass flow rate. Okay, so mass flow rate into H2 minus H1. So we will calculate first part, COP. COP is equal to refrigerating effect upon compressor work. Refrigerating effect is H1 minus H4 upon H2 minus H1. H1 value is 1411.33 minus 290 divided by 1584 minus H1 is 1411.33. So value of COP is 6.49. This is first answer. Now second question, we have to calculate W dot C, power. So what will be W dot C? W dot C is equal to mass flow rate of refrigerant into H2 minus H1. So we have to calculate W dot C, and mass flow rate of refrigerant is not known. So we will first calculate mass flow rate, M dot R. How to calculate this? See the given data. Total TR is given. Where is this heat absorbed, it is absorbed in evaporator from 4 to 1. Okay, so we will write down this will be Q dot A, heat absorbed in evaporator. So I'll write down Q dot A is equal to mass flow rate of refrigerant into H1 minus H4. Q dot A value, it is 3.5 into capacity 12 equal to m dot R into H1 1411.33 minus H4 290. From here we can calculate m dot R, which is equal to 0.037 kg per second. Substitute this value of mass flow rate in this equation to calculate W dot C. So therefore, W dot C is equal to 0.037 into H2 1584 minus H1 1411.33. Okay, so W dot C is equal to 6.38 kilowatt. This is second answer. So we have completed this numerical. So what I'll do now, I'll send you a copy of ASHRAE chart also of ammonia. Okay, and there what you can do on that chart, instead of calculating this from table, you can directly mark H1 point. How? Because their dryness fraction is given. Okay, so mark the temperature and then directly this dryness fraction curve is there. You can get point number 1. Okay, then draw and complete the cycle and check what answers you are getting on that chart and compare it with this answer. Okay, next question. What is this type? Superheating compression with subcooling. So point 1 will be superheated, point 2 is also superheated, and point 3 is subcooled liquid. So I'll read the data, read the question. A food storage plant has a refrigeration capacity of 10 TR. So capacity is given as 10 TR. So I can write down the data. Capacity is equal to 10 TR. It works between evaporating temperature of minus 10 degrees Celsius. So T low is minus 10 and condensing temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. So here you can see on pH chart and TS diagram. Okay, I have shown this constant pressure curve and constant temperature line of T high and T low, and on pH diagram this is HP pressure, LP pressure, and this is saturation temperature, condenser temperature TC given as 30 degrees Celsius, and evaporator temperature or T low temperature minus 10 degrees Celsius. The refrigerant R12, so R12 refrigerant is given in this question, is subcooled by 5 degrees Celsius. Now what is meaning of this? Read the data properly. What is given? Subcooled by. So what will be subcooling in this case? It will be 30 minus 5, it will be 25 degrees Celsius. Subcooling by means it is degree of subcooling is given. Okay, this is degree of subcooling. What is degree of subcooling? It is Tsat minus Tsub equal to 5. That is given before entering the expansion valve, and vapor is superheated to minus 5 degrees Celsius before entering the compressor. Before entering the compressor means point number 1. So here you can see point number 1, its temperature. Read the data carefully. It is superheated to. Superheated to means actual temperature is given. Okay, now this temperature is minus 5. So here you can see I have shown a minus 5 temperature line. Okay, so this will be minus 5, and below that this temperature, it is minus 10. So this curve is 30 degrees Celsius, then this one is 25, this one is -5 and this temperature it is -10. Okay, so if point number 1 is superheated, point number 2 it will also be what? In superheated region. Okay, so 1 to 2 is isentropic compression, 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat rejection, 3 to 4 is isenthalpic expansion, and 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat absorption in evaporator. Now same thing has been shown over here. Point 1 it is in superheated region, so this is the nature of constant pressure curve like this. So this will be point number 1, 1 to 2 both the points are in superheated region, then 2 to 3 subcooling is there, so it will go over here, then 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. So we have drawn pH and TH diagram from the given data. Assuming a 2-cylinder single acting compressor operating at 1800 rpm. Okay, so here number of cylinders C it is given as 2. So if you are calculating this bore and stroke, in that case we have to use that C value is 2, number of cylinder. Assuming 2-cylinder single acting compressor operating at 1800 rpm with stroke equal to bore. So L is equal to D is given. We have to calculate COP, bore and stroke, and theoretical power per ton. Okay, so 10 tons is given, so whatever power we get, we have to divide it by 10. Now specific heat of liquid refrigerant is given. Why is this given? For subcooled point. Okay, and specific heat of vapor is given, it is given for point 1 and point 2. Okay, so since this CPL and CPV is given, we are using table method. Okay, so I'll calculate all the enthalpies now one by one. So first we will calculate enthalpy of point 1. Okay, so H1 is equal to, now what will be the formula of this enthalpy? Means we have to calculate enthalpy of this point. Okay, so it will be Hg at -10 plus Cp of vapor T soup minus Tsat. T soup temperature is how much? It is -5, and Tsat temperature is how much? It is -10. Okay, so both the values are known. Now here understand, even though this temperature is -5, it is what? Superheated vapor. Okay, because this is refrigerant. So what will be H1? It will be Hg at -10 degrees Celsius plus Cp of vapor T soup minus Tsat. Okay, Hg at 10 degrees Celsius, we will read that value. This is R12. So we will see R12 tables. So these are R12 tables. We have to see -10 degrees Celsius Hg value. Okay, so Hg value it is 347.134 kilojoule per kg. So Hg is 347.134 plus Cp of vapor, it is given in the question. Cp of vapor 0.735 in bracket T soup. What is this T soup? It is -5. So -5 minus of Tsat is -10. So from here we can calculate H1. H1 is equal to 350.809 kilojoule per kg. Okay, now we have to calculate enthalpy of point 2. So what will be the approach of calculating enthalpy of point 2? Our approach will be 1 to 2 is isentropic process. Okay, so S1 is equal to S2, and point 1 and point 2 both are superheated. Okay, so S1 we have to write for superheated, S2 also we have to write for superheated, and we will get T soup temperature of point 2. So I'll write down how to calculate this. S1 is equal to S2. What will be S1? This S1 value, it will be this S1. Okay, it will be up to this point Hg plus Cp of vapor log of T soup for 0.1 and Tsat. Okay, Tsat it is -10 and T soup it is -5, but we have to convert that in Kelvin. Why? Because it is division. Okay, when difference is there, here we can take in degree Celsius also, no problem. But when division is there, in case of entropy, there we have to take in Kelvin. So remember that. So I'll write down S1 is equal to Hg at -10 degree Celsius plus Cp of vapor log T soup upon Tsat is equal to, what will be S2 for point number 2 till this point? This will be Hg at higher temperature of 30 plus Cp of vapor log T soup for 0.2 upon Tsat, and this Tsat is 30. So I'll write down for 0.2 Hg at higher temperature, which is 30, plus Cp of vapor log T soup upon Tsat. Okay, now this T soup is different, this T soup is different. Okay, remember that. This saturation temperature is also different. So Hg at -10 and Hg at 30, we will see these values. So here you can see this is, we are looking R12 tables, -10 degree Celsius, Hg is this value, and 30 degree Celsius, Hg is this value. So we will take these values and calculate. So Hg value 1.55997 plus Cp of vapor 0.735 given in question log T soup, it is -5 plus 273 upon Tsat, it is -10 plus 273 equal to Hg value we have read 1.54334 plus Cp of vapor 0.735 log T soup we have to calculate upon Tsat, it is 30 plus 273. So only unknown in this equation is T soup. So T soup for 0.2 is equal to 315.826 Kelvin. Convert this in degree Celsius, 42.83 degree Celsius. Okay, now we have to calculate H2. What will be equation of H2? That 0.2, it is in superheated region. Okay, so it will be, till this point it will be Hg at 30 plus Cp of vapor into T soup, which we have calculated just now, minus Tsat, which is 30. So I'll write down the equation. H2 is equal to Hg at 30 degree Celsius plus Cp of vapor T soup for 0.2 minus Tsat for 0.2. Okay, so Hg at 30, this we have to read from the table again. Hg at 30. So this is 30 and we have to read Hg value. So this value we have to read, which is 363.566. Okay, Hg at 30 degree Celsius 363.566 plus Cp of vapor 0.735 into T soup for 0.2, just now we calculated 42.83 minus What is Tsat for point 2? Condenser temperature, it is 30 degrees Celsius, minus 30. So H2 value is equal to 372.99 kilojoule per kg. Now we'll calculate H3. Okay, H3 is equal to, now point 3, it is in subcooled region. Okay, this is point 3. So how to calculate enthalpy of point 3? It will be, up to this point it is HF. Okay, so this value will be HF minus this value, it will be Cp of liquid Tsat minus T sub. Okay, so I'll write down the equation. H3 is HF. What is the saturation temperature? Okay, now here be careful. For point 3 here it is subcooling, its temperature is 25. But I told you before that the values given in the table, they are for saturation condition. Okay, so we have to read for HF at 30 minus Cp of liquid into Tsat minus T sub. Okay, so be careful while writing the equation. HF at 30 degrees Celsius minus Cp of liquid into Tsat minus T sub. Okay, now HF at 30 degrees Celsius we have to read from table. Okay, this is HF column. Okay, this will be 30 degrees Celsius, 228.54 minus Cp of liquid. What is the Cp of liquid value? 1.235. Into Tsat is 30 minus T sub is 25. So from here we can calculate H3, which is equal to H4 equal to 222.365 kilojoule per kg. Okay, now we have calculated enthalpy of all the points. Okay, what are the values? This is H1 value, this is H2 value, and this is H3 equal to H4. Now whatever is asked in the question that we can calculate. First is COP. What will be COP? It will be refrigerating effect, which is H1 minus H4 upon compressor work H2 minus H1. Okay, we have all the enthalpies, we'll calculate that. COP. Now this is which COP? Theoretical COP. How to calculate Carnot COP for this cycle? Understand that. I'll write down the equation here. Okay, Carnot COP, it will be equal to T low upon T high minus T low. Okay, what is this T low value? It is this evaporator temperature. Okay, minus 10 degrees Celsius. So T low is minus 10 plus 273. You have to substitute in Kelvin. Same will be this T low. Okay, and T high value, which is condenser temperature, it is 30 plus 273. So from here we can calculate Carnot COP. This Carnot COP is around 6.575. Okay, it is not asked, still we are calculating so that you can understand what is the equation and how to use it. Okay, so we'll calculate COP theoretical. So COP theoretical is equal to refrigerating effect upon compressor work. Refrigerating effect, it is H1 minus H4 upon H2 minus H1, which is equal to H1 value is 350.809 minus 222.365 divided by H2 value it is 372.99 minus 350.809. So from here we can calculate COP theoretical. COP theoretical is equal to 5.79. Okay, now second question. Now how to calculate this bore and stroke? So we'll see this part now. Bore and stroke of compressor. Now what is this equation? V dot 1. Why 1? Because we have to see inlet of the compressor. Okay, equal to C into pi by 4 into d square L into n dash by 60 into volumetric efficiency. Okay, now this left hand side V dot 1, this value will be mass flow rate of refrigerant into specific volume of 0.1. So specific volume of 0.1 we have to calculate first. What will be this? 0.1 is superheated. Okay, so equation will be Vg at saturation temperature. Now what is saturation temperature of 0.1? Be careful. 0.1, what is the temperature? -5. But for 0.1, what is the evaporator temperature? -10. That temperature we have to take. So Vg will be at -10. Vg at -10 into T sup by Tsat. So we have to read Vg at -10 from the table. So at -10, what is Vg value? Vg is 0.0766464. Now be careful over here. Just see the unit. Okay, unit of specific volume is meter cube per kg. And suppose you want to calculate this Vf. Okay, don't forget to see this multiplied by 10 raised to 3. Okay, this value, don't forget. Okay, I'm not sure about this value. It might be 10 raised to -3. I'll confirm and let you know. Because specific volume of liquid is less and vapor is more. Okay, and here you can see they are nearly comparable. So I think this should be Vf into 10 raised to -3. Okay, I'll confirm and let you know. So Vg at -10, 0.0766464 multiplied by T sup is -5 plus 273 and Tsat is -10 plus 273. From here we can calculate V1. V1 is equal to 0.0781 meter cube per kg. Now we have to calculate second part of this one, mass flow rate of refrigerant. How to calculate that? From tonnage given in the question. So what is the total ton given in the question? 10 Tr. Where is this 10 Tr absorbed? Where do we get this refrigerating effect? In evaporator. Okay, so process 4-1, this will be heat absorption, Q dot A, which will be mass of refrigerant into H1 minus H4. So Q dot A is equal to mass of refrigerant, mass flow rate into H1 minus H4. Okay, capacity is given as 10 Tr. So 3.5 into 10 equal to mass flow rate of refrigerant into H1 is 350.809 we have calculated minus H4 222.365. So m dot refrigerant is equal to 0.2724 kg per second. Now after calculating mass flow rate of refrigerant and specific volume of 0.1, we can get left hand side. What about this C? What is given in the data? It is 2 cylinder single acting means N dash will be equal to N operating at 1800 rpm and L is equal to D. So substitute all this given data. So left hand side will be mass flow rate of refrigerant, which is, so we'll write down substitute in 1. So V dot 1, it will be 0. Mass flow rate 0.2724 into specific volume 0.0781 equal to C is 2 into pi by 4 D square into L is equal to D. So again D into N dash by 60. What is N dash given? 1800 rpm by 60 into volumetric efficiency. Okay, now in question volumetric efficiency is not given, so we will assume volumetric efficiency is 1 multiplied by volumetric efficiency. We have assumed it as 1 since it is not given in question. So from here we can calculate D diameter, which is equal to 0.07671 meter and D is equal to L. So finally this value we can write in centimeter, 7.67 centimeter. Next question. Okay, we have to calculate theoretical power per ton of refrigeration. Okay, now where is power consumed during process of compression 1 to 2? So what will be power? It will be mass flow rate of refrigerant, m dot refrigerant into H2 minus H1. That will be for how many TR? Total of 10 TR. Why? Because that mass flow rate which we have calculated, it is taken into consideration by 10 TR. Okay, that mass flow rate, it is calculated considering 10 TR. Okay, here you can see we have considered 10 TR. So I'll write down next question, power per ton, which is W dot C equal to mass flow rate of refrigerant into H2 minus H1 divided by total tons, TR given in the question. Mass flow rate of refrigerant 0.2724 into H2 372.99 minus H1 350.809 divided by total ton is 10 TR. So we can calculate power per ton, which is equal to 0.6042 kilowatt per TR.